Did you know that your social media has the power to get you invited to speak on different platforms? Today, we're talking to PR expert Christina Nicholson, who is breaking down how she got her TEDx talk based on her LinkedIn profile, and breaking down how you can be doing similar things. Now, we've talked to Christina a number of times here on the channel. She's told us all about how she's gotten her clients on USA Today and CNN, so she's going to be bringing all the great tips and tricks when it comes to making sure that you're using your past experience and your past appearances to get those future presentations. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Christina Nicholson. I am a former TV reporter and anchor. Now I own a public relations agency and I help business owners earn exposure in the media without spending any money on ads.
And I'm so excited because today we're talking about how you got yourself a TED Talk and you did this in a very interesting way. What happened there?
Yeah, well, most people apply to do a TED Talk in their city. I did not apply. I mean, I was very, open to the idea. I always wanted to do one, but I never really acted on it. I practice what I preach, as we've talked about before. And I think it's super important to share what you're doing on social media, especially LinkedIn, just because that is the professional platform. So after doing that for years, I was approached by an organizer for the TEDx event in Boca Raton in 2018. And he said, hey, listen, I want you to do a talk. I don't know exactly what it's going to be about yet, but I know I want something under the media umbrella. So we met for lunch. And my idea was, well, why don't I just talk about how anybody can be in the media? Now we have YouTube and, all this social media, and there's such a low barrier of entry. And he was like, yeah, that's good. But I was thinking more something along the line of fake news, because this was in 2018. Donald Trump was calling everything under the sun that he didn't like fake news. People were getting all hot and bothered when they would hear that term. So I was like, okay, let's talk about fake news. So my talk, it's a 7-minute talk about why fake news is your fault. And I go into just how it works. I kind of take you behind the scenes of the TV industry. And when I was a reporter and anchor, we would see the ratings every day. So all of these people who say, oh, the news is all bad and negative stuff, I wish it were more positive. Well, we could see that when we covered a positive story, you would change the channel. And when we did something terrible, more people would watch it. So you control what you see. A great example of this that I use in my talk is the Kardashians. Love them or hate them, whenever you see anything posted about the Kardashians, go look at the comment section. Their posts get the most engagement, and all of that engagement is negative. But for that reason, you are going to see more of them, because the people who post that, say it's E! News, they're posting Kardashian news. They're going to say, oh my gosh, the Kardashian post got the most engagement, do more Kardashian posts. They're not seeing your comments, or they don't really care about your comments that say, oh, this is garbage. Why is this news? I'm tired of this family, blah, blah, blah. They just see that it's making you feel a certain way, that you're acting on it. So they're going to show you more. And then I go into a whole story. I kind of start and end with this. You can watch the TED Talk, but it's about a friend of mine who is a reporter and anchor in the Tampa area. And she was accused of being this woman who doesn't even look like her, going on a racist tirade at a nail salon. And somebody who lived across the country said, oh, that's this person from Fox News in Tampa. And she was like, what? That's not me. That doesn't even look like me. Well, this one lady who had very little following, not even a profile picture, just a random on Twitter, tweeted it was her. And so many people retweeted it. Even a person who called themselves a journalist, who was verified with a bunch of followers, retweeted it. People were sending her death. This whole thing escalated like crazy just because people were like, oh, saw it on the internet. I agreed with it. I shared it, or whatever it was. So that's kind of how the whole fake news is your fault comes into play. And I go into more detail about just how it works on behind the scenes. But I do know I had the organizer of the event told me a few weeks later, he said, I had a couple family members who loved your talk, but it spurred a fight in the car on the way home. So it definitely made people feel something.
And that is kind of the point of creating this press to make people have some type of reaction. One of the things I like to talk about a lot is that you're either attracting or repelling people. You have to make them feel something, because if you're just middle of the road, most people aren't going to care about that. And so evoking that reaction is going to be incredibly important, whether you are doing a TED Talk or you're appearing on CNN or you're on the Today Show or you're in the local newspaper. Making sure you have some angle where people can feel is going to be incredibly important. So I know as you stepped into your conversation and had this TED Talk, you had a lot of really interesting things planned. And I know that you have the episode, which we're going to link down below, that people can check out. But I want to talk a little bit about your process for this. I know they contacted you on LinkedIn. They saw that you had been posting all of the press that you had been doing. So if somebody wanted to get involved with a TED Talk or to have some type of PR in that realm, what would the steps be for them to take to get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I had somebody in my media mentoring program. So outside of my agency, I have a media mentoring program where I teach people how to act as their own publicist if they don't have a budget for an agency. And one of my clients in that program has actually done 2 TED Talks since working with me. And a lot of it does start with earning that media exposure, because you have to think when you do anything, I mean, even when you apply for a job, people are going to Google you. They're going to Google your name. And in the application process, they do ask questions like if you've earned media exposure and where has it been and on what topic. So my client, she was earning a lot of media exposure as somebody who is really big on female empowerment and women, owning their own businesses and things like that. So she would get a lot of exposure in her local market in Colorado about that. So when she applied to do this TEDx talk, she is sharing links to her being on TV talking about that topic. So that tells the organizers of the event, oh, well, if she can talk about this on live TV, then obviously she's perfect to do this on TEDx. And when you are in the media like that, you're seen as an influencer. So they want you to come on, not just to speak at the event, but then they're going to be like, oh, this person's also going to promote the event because they're speaking at it, which gives them more attention as well. So that's one thing that I would suggest you do. It's a really good foundation. The other thing is connect with the organizers on LinkedIn. I just so happened to be connected with them, not because I was seeking out an opportunity, but that's just how it happened, because somebody who volunteered at the event was also like a freelance writer or something. So that's kind of how the circle grew, and I became connected with the organizer of the event. So just go on LinkedIn and search TEDx and search your city. You can also set up Google alerts for that, and then you'll get notified when they are looking for speakers for their next event. Also look at who has spoken in the past, and then reach out to them and be like, hey, I'd love to apply, but I know tons of people apply. I'd like to stand out in the application. Who could I connect with? What introductions could you make? So those are a few ways to go about it, but you definitely want to set yourself up as an expert in your industry, an expert in your topic. The best way to do that is through what you post on social media that they can see, and by earning exposure in the media. So when they Google you, that's what pops up.
So it's incredibly important to make sure you have that PR, it's accessible for people, and that you are putting it out into the world over and over and over again. But it's also incredibly important to build up your network, whether that is in person or making friends online or using something like LinkedIn to really build up what you're doing. I absolutely love this conversation. Do you have any final thoughts on people who might want to step into this realm of public speaking and how it relates to the other PR that they're getting?
Yeah, so I would invite people to check out my media masterclass. It's free. It's just an hour long. You can check it out at earnmedianow.com. It'll give you tons of strategies to earn publicity. And then I also share a little bit more in detail about how I got that TEDx talk. So you can find out more there. I chat about it on my podcast, Become a Media Maven. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on social media. In all of the places, I am at Christina all day.
So as you can see, leveraging your past experiences on social media is incredibly beneficial to helping you reach out and expand what you're doing in your business in the future, getting more speaking positions and appearances. And we want to make sure we're getting your questions answered. So if you have questions, now's the time to drop those down below and hit that subscribe and notification bell, because we are dropping daily content with experts just like Christina Christina, helping you to grow your business, expand your reach, and take the time commitment out of being present on social media so you can get back to running your business and running your life. We'll see you in the next episode.